welcoming you back to the desk of Caddicarus. Join us as we partake into a new installment of Current Quickies.
Hello, my duckies. New desk it is, and this time we're going to be having a look at Bloodborne. Finally. This game is... Now, I'm somebody who likes the Souls games, but I don't exactly love them. Purely because I didn't find the settings or overall lore that interesting, unfortunately. I have beaten Demon Souls and half of Dark Souls 1, if that's of any consolation. And I'm in the middle of playing Dark Souls 2 right now. So, yeah. Anyway, because of that, Bloodborne's announcement trailer caught me by complete surprise, and, well, after seeing the settings and themes in the trailer alone, I was shocked and excited for it more than I could ever tell you. But little did I know that the impact this game would leave on me would be so massive, I would find it nearly impossible to write a script for it. So the question is, how did I find it? Well...
Oh my Christ. On a bicycle. Bloodborne is fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. It kicked so much ass that I could barely think of anything to say for any kind of video after I bought it. It exceeded my personal expectations that much. The first thing I have to praise to hell and back though is the presentation as a whole. The music is absolutely jaw-dropping and perfectly accentuates every moment in the story, and when there is no music, the sound design is some of the creepiest and most atmospheric I've ever heard in a video game, all coupled with incredible voice acting whenever you hear it. As for the visuals, my goodness, I have nothing to say. It's beautiful. Utterly beautiful. This is officially my favorite representation of Victoria London era inspired universes that has ever existed. And not only does it excellently capture the pure gothic horror of its sources perfectly, but the amount of shit that it adds in and expands to what we know about gothic horror is admirable and absolutely dumbfounding, and every distant building, landscape, and natural horizon is breathtakingly gorgeous and worth its own work of art alone. And not only is it beautiful, but personally I found it endlessly more visually interesting and diverse than the Souls game, which is also the reason why I love the theming in this game. The writing and lore in this game is some of the most fascinating, dark, deeply written, and well thought out I've ever seen. And similar to Souls, the fact that nothing is directly explained to you and fed to you slightly through item descriptions makes it all the more incredible, since you as a player knows just as much as your main character, who just entered this enigmatic world for the sake of curing himself and getting wrapped up in something he or she doesn't even know about. After beating the game, I spent days reading up on all the different theories and interpretations to the incredible universe of Yharnam, and it was all utterly engrossing for me. But due to the original and highly creative ideas with the story, the bosses, the weaponry, the settings, the enemies, and everything else, this is what made me enjoy it more than the Souls games. And yes, where I do agree that all the Souls games have excellently written lores for what they are, and trust me, I can completely understand the worldwide fandom for them, the medieval settings and the slightly overdone aspects that come with it unavoidably are what made it not that interesting for me compared to Bloodborne. As for gameplay, I also think it ironed out everything I didn't like too much with the Souls games, while simultaneously remaining to be one of the hardest games I've ever played. Mistakes are not leniently brushed aside, your hand is not ever held, timing is everything, dodging and attacking must be thought out accordingly, stamina conservation is important, patience is vital, and you will die. All the great From Software traits are here and accounted for, but Bloodborne forces you headfirst into every encounter perfectly and forces you to be more aggressive and cunning than in Souls. The removal of shields, well, nearly, and the inclusion of more suitable and much fucking cooler projectile weaponry makes every encounter more death-defying intense than ever, especially with the new visceral attack mechanic that forces you to allow yourself to nearly be attacked just to then give you a chance to inflict huge damage if you time a bullet just right and run up to them to attack, which means that the risk and reward system is much higher here and fantastically constructed. Not only that, but stealth and sneaking attacks have been improved so much more, and the control and weight of your character I feel is perfect. Compared with Souls, especially Dark Souls 2, the weapons all feel more weighty and completely badass with the way they shift with your character, and the enemies react to each weapon in the most appropriate ways possible to give you some of the most satisfying combat and physical feedback from any From Software game today. And like I mentioned, it's hard as fucking frozen nails. It's also worth saying that the level design is glorious. Every time I return to an area that I hadn't explored for hours, I remembered every single enemy placement, every single enemy attack pattern, every single hidden pathway, and I haven't remembered this much detail on any level design since the original Resident Evil Spencer Mansion. And on Bloodborne, it's on a much bigger scale, so kudos. Also, the way that each area seamlessly connects to each other and links back to earlier areas makes Yharnam feel like one of the most cohesive and well-structured game worlds I've ever seen, and the sheer amount of secret areas, shortcuts, rewarding side quests, optional areas, and completely missable bosses and missable, well, everything. There's a lot to miss here, makes exploring this game one of the most rewarding experiences ever. And because of the new aggressive approach to the game as a whole with no way to hide behind a shield, it almost feels more naturally accustomed to a survival horror game than the Souls games, and it stands out magnificently because of it all. And well, the horridness of the enemy designs and behaviors of them hiding in corners also contributes to that. It made me so damn nervous and punishing to my curiosity unlike anything I've played in a long time. Maybe even slightly more so than Alien Isolation, which was entirely intended as a horror game. As for the bosses, I don't even know what to say about them. They're all incredible. Some are easier than others as you go on, but every boss is memorable, tense as all fuck, visually incredible, originally designed and structured, and so hard. Well, maybe except the Witch of Hemwick. She wasn't that tough. I was always wondering in sickly anticipation when the next boss would appear, and when they did, the impact and grandness of them awe-inspired me, and resonated with me for hours after I beat them. And you know something, on reflection, with every single hour I spent on this game, which was a grand total of 59 hours altogether, all of the places and environments this game took me through made the entire journey feel like a truly emotional experience for me. To travel even further away from Yharnam city centre and explore the origins of the beast and the origins of the town itself, and find out even more about the completely forgotten and desolate areas, really did make me think and resonate with me. Call me stupid or whatever, but the sheer amount of diversity between each area you travel through in this game seriously made me think hard about the huge adventure I went on and all of the vastly different places I saw and survived. That's the key word, survive. I was able to enjoy every single area in this game for what it was, but the fact I survived each place was what made every part of this game feel truly incredible and special to me. Not to mention unforgettable, gratifying, and terrifying all at the same time. The lusciously dark woods, the rotting city centre, the abandoned holy villages and graveyards, the forsaken snow castle, the mysterious witch mountains, the dingy underground labyrinths, the variety is just incredible for a Victorian era inspired game. And whenever I check my gravestones to see the utterly huge amount of different places and lamps I'd conquered all throughout those hours, I couldn't believe how much I'd gone through when it felt like I'd only started playing the game the day before.
But there are a lot of things wrong with this game. I'm just kidding, I've got no complaints whatsoever.
Well, I mean, from a technical standpoint, I suppose I could always complain about the loading times and how long they are, but after about half an hour, I got used to them. It gave me a good wind-down period in between each tense exploration session, and it gave me a chance to take a quick break and a drink or toilet break or whatever since you couldn't pause the game. And you know what? Even if you don't like the idea of these loading times, there was a patch a few weeks ago that cut the loading times down to a few seconds, decorated with loads of little bits of information and tips about the world of Bloodborne, so you can't really complain about it anymore. But in terms of negativity, that's all I can really bring up, I suppose. Basically, when all is said and done, Bloodborne is my new favorite video game ever made, and I'm not even slightly joking about that. From the second I picked it up and watched the first cutscene into the very ending credits, I've never been so engrossed, engaged, mind-blown, and addicted to a video game in my life. The vast amount of emotions that this game managed to make me convey will make me never, ever forget my time in the utterly horrible universe and history of Yharnam. I was scared shitless about what was behind every corner, physically shaking in anticipation and panic with every boss fight, anxious over losing all of my hard-earned blood echoes, stunned by the utter beauty and sickly variations of every incredible district of Yharnam, relieved and unbelievably satisfied with every single boss and enemy kill and shortcut discovery, overwhelmingly happy with every secret drop and hidden item and area I managed to stumble across from my own intuition, frustrated and indescribably angry with every constant death I managed to suffer from, curious and excited to reward myself by leveling up, seeing what I could level up and what it would do, buying new weapons and upgrading the weapons, acquiring new armor, and just tinkering around with all of the amazing RPG elements, invested and interested in the entire history of Yharnam and saddened and sympathetic by the tragic lives of all the locals. And after I finished this game, I went straight into New Game Plus almost immediately to experience it all over again. And to be honest, I could keep going on all day, talking about the awesome re-inclusion of the Souls Online mechanic, when you can summon other players for a limited time only and at a cost, or invade and help other people for potentially good rewards. And to stop the game from being easy in any way on online mode, there are still the amazing costs and benefits that come with online play. Whether you have to pay to have someone come and help you, find a note from another player that actually lies to you, and of course being susceptible to invasions at random whenever you play with friends anyway, unless you find and kill the bell-ringing lady, who is trying to summon invaders into your world. And not only is the much more difficult New Game Plus a thing, but also to cater to replayability, there are also the procedurally generated chalice dungeons, where you get completely different enemies, bosses, world layout, and other treasures. There is so much to do in this game. I'm so happy that From Software decided to work with Sony again after Demon's Souls, because this game has finally made me fully 100% happy that I bought a PS4. My God.
This game, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, gets a 10 out of 10. I adored it. Sorry for rambling though. This video went on a little bit longer than I thought it was gonna do.
Hello everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video on Bloodborne. My good friend Hailfail did her own video on Bloodborne on her channel, so that video is on the screen right now. You can go and have a look at it, and if you look at the description, you'll find all of my social networks, and if you want to support the show even further, then consider clicking on that little Appman link, which is basically a service that allows you to download apps and complete little challenges to earn tokens and then convert them into online shopping vouchers. It's really cool, and you'll find my Games Grabber collection down there, or Games Grabber rather, which is where you'll find my entire games collection, well, my physical games collection on my shelves, and you can keep up to date with everything as I buy them and play through them. It's really, really cool. And of course, if it's your birthday today while watching this video, happy freaking birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful.